If
It's
I'm
like,
paying for this all year,
yeah,
we're going to find a way to use it.
Exactly.
Along these roads we roam, we find adventure through traveling, camping, boondocking, and exploring.
Hello everybody and welcome to Vlogcast episode number 44. My name is Russ.
And I'm Kerry.
And we are the roads we roam. We're a couple living in our little guy Max full time. We do this vlog 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. On Saturdays we have a Faces and Places video. Basically, we take the camera with us all week long and you get to see what we've been seeing throughout the week. And then we have two opportunities where we get to speak with you live. And that is Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and again, and again Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
So I'm excited. We get to talk to everybody live tonight. I always look forward to those.
Yeah, me too. Those are always a blast.
Although, kind of funny, I didn't think Russ would be able to make it. He sat down for 2 seconds and dozed off just for a little bit. I had to wake him up to do this. I don't know if he'll make it for the Friday night
sawing
line.
logs over there. I was trying to get ready for I've been working on the Faces and Places video for Saturday, so I don't know.
Well, and I think it's the weather.
Yeah.
We had a storm front roll in and the temperature dropped, and it was just one of those rainy kind of stay-in days that we had a lot of when we first hit the road, but we haven't had for a couple weeks. So.
It just seemed more wet and damp in here today than it has in a long time.
And that was just, I think, that big storm front.
Yeah, but I mean, and we've been through those, but it just seemed wetter in here for some reason.
Yeah, the air was very, very heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, just Florida in general, having lived out in the Southwest for so long.
Yeah, we're used to that dry climate.
Even breathing just seems like it's thicker. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It just seems a lot thicker to try to breathe in, and everything is just damp and yes. Another reason aside from my bad haircut is the hair frizzes go out to there, so
that's why you're wearing the hat? Is that what you're saying?
Ponytails or hats is the way to go.
Gotcha, yeah.
So, you know, I started to think today about our planning for next week for travel, and I still don't have it down yet, but I saw a lot of people online, a lot of other YouTubers and stuff. They're starting to head west, doing that RTR, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous.
Yeah, we're going to be heading west here. We're not necessarily doing the RTR.
No, we're not doing that this year just because of our schedule.
We have a couple of other things that we have to do that we already had set up prior to that.
One of them is the RV Super Show.
Yeah, definitely.
But the RTR is something that intrigues me. And I think it intrigues a lot of people. They were expecting more than 7,500 people to show up for it this year.
We're going to have to go next year for sure.
And you know what's interesting? That thing has grown year over year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different YouTube things about it. So I look forward to kind of looking through and watching through other people's lenses and their eyes.
Yeah, we'll be watching.
Hopefully they will get better weather than what they've been having.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy the weather they had last week out there west. You know, you think of it being warm and dry.
Well, they were showing some pictures online that I believe parts of the Grand Canyon had snow.
Yeah.
All through it. I mean, that was just amazing to me.
Yeah,
I think Tucson got like 2 inches of snow. So.
Yeah, I'm glad we're in Florida.
Yeah, me too. But. Yes, we're gonna get ready. We're gonna go explore. I think I wanted to hit Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Week
I'm looking forward to that.
Eastern seaboard area. So whatever we can kind of work out, we'll definitely take y'all along. But that's part of the fun.
Cape Canaveral, I think NASA.
Yes.
Good, man. I'd like to go there. Are there any space shuttle launches due? Have they even been launching space shuttles anymore?
I don't know.
I don't think so. They haven't. I think it's all been...
Although I do know China just had something land on the dark side of the moon.
I saw that. Well, I didn't read the article. I saw the headline.
Yep. Yeah. That's about as far as you got.
Yeah.
On that one.
You know, I mean, I'm not...
Hey,
you know.
we are like experts now. We saw a satellite in the sky looking up at the night sky one night.
There you go.
So
we
there
did.
We go. You know, Kate and KV,
Uh-huh.
some of our followers, they sent me an article this week. The Atlanta Journal, I think it was, Review Journal, did a whole article about the RV life and how it's a growing trend.
Yeah.
More and more people are going. I'll link that in the notes below.
There you go.
But it's an interesting thing just to see, okay, maybe we're not crazy.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people doing it. We know that, so it'll be neat. I'd like to read it and see what they say, so I'll have to check that
That's
out
right.
as
I
well.
didn't pass it along to you because you
Yep.
just had your head buried into all
Yeah, doing
that
computer
video
stuff.
work.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, more and more people are doing it. So I checked a couple facts. Do you know 8.9 million Americans currently own an RV?
That's a lot of people.
And it's a growing trend, but 8.9 million people.
Mm-hmm.
That's just crazy. But the vast majority of the people that own their RVs only use it about 3 weeks a year.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to spend on a rig on something that is only used for 3 weeks out of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I thought about. Would we have bought this unit if we were just going to be weekenders?
No. I think we would have gone with something a little less expensive, I think we would have gone this size, but I think we would have gone something not that much. Because, I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on a rig that you're only using during the weekends, and then when you do that, you're pretty much relegated to using that on your vacations. Your vacations, for me anyways.
If I'm paying for this all year, we're going to find a way to use it.
Exactly. We're not going to Hawaii. Nope. We're going to Yosemite or something. Yeah.
Well, okay. So speaking of Yosemite, national parks, the government shutdown is continuing.
Yeah.
And
I hear they're just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, these campgrounds, people, I don't understand. I don't think the vast majority of the true RVers and the true nature lovers are doing this, but there's a big portion of people out there that are going into these national parks and just abusing it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad, and well, it's not kind of sad, it is sad. And just think of all the work that's going to have to be done to get these places back up and running
once
again.
government opens back up, there's going to be a lot of work to do to get these places visitable again. Is that even a word, visitable?
It is now. You
Yeah.
made it a word.
But, there are, you're reading of people, basically using the park everywhere you go as a bathroom.
Bathroom, their own dumping grounds.
Yeah.
Just going through the trails on whatever vehicles they want, like ATVs and other things, just getting them in there and ruining things because there's no regulation. They know it.
There's no authority to enforce.
But, people that made reservations, we talked before about those systems where you're booking a year in advance.
That would be really irritating to me.
That
Imagine that. And I'm sure this is happening all over the place. We've wanted to make reservations to go to X Park a year out in advance. And then we finally get there and there's somebody there in your spot or where you're supposed to be. And there's nothing you can do about it because they know that they're not leaving because there's nobody to tell them that they have to leave. And you can't get in. I mean, that would be, that'd be irritating.
Yeah, so hopefully this will all get resolved soon, and the national parks will have the resources all back in place.
Yep.
But until then, everybody kind of take care of the parks.
Yeah, definitely.
But talking about camping, you wanted to start maybe doing this thing, not really a full weekly wrap up, but talking more about where we're staying, how we're choosing to stay at these locations.
I think it's valuable information. I think people are really interested in, full-timers, not only, where you're staying, what campsite, but maybe how you're staying. We mooch docked, 2 nights. We stayed at a campground one night.
Because we briefly cover that in our monthly financial recap.
Yeah.
But we don't really delve into the thought process and the hows and the whys.
Yeah, yeah.
So on Fridays, we're going to give you all a brief recap of the types of locations that we've stayed at, how we go about staying at them, and just our general thoughts on the different types of places that we're staying at.
Yep.
So this last week, so we're going to start from Saturday through today.
Okay.
And we wound up 4 nights at a campground.
Yep.
And 3 nights Mooch Docking.
Yep.
So for a total expense of $90. The campground that we stayed at was $20 a night.
Yep.
It did not have full hookup, so we had to pay $10 to dump our tanks
At
right
the
before
end.
we left.
So you
$90
just rolled that in. Yep.
for the week.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's not too bad.
No, I don't think so at all.
Yeah.
And so the campground that we stayed at was a county campground.
Yep. And what was it? Coleman Landing.
Coleman Landing at
Yep.
Shady Oaks, and that is in Lake Wales, Florida. So if you've
Yep.
been following us this last week, we talked a little bit about that. But one thing that I don't think we touched on, or I might have mentioned it just briefly in passing, it does not take reservations. It being a county park, it's first come, first serve. And
As a lot of them are out here.
yes, and I will be honest, with all my apps, whenever I've looked at places where if it didn't have a way that I could make reservations even online, I usually skipped past them. And I know that there's a lot that don't take reservations online, but they do on the phone.
Yeah.
To me, it just seems like a little extra work sometimes. And so I'll even bypass some of those. So the fact that we were even considering driving all the way out there for a campground on a maybe,
Yep.
even though
Well-
I did call because I was paranoid so much about this, and the gentleman said, oh, we have 50 sites and only 10 are taken right now. Y'all should be fine. And we showed up, but there were more people, about half full.
Well,
really.
yeah, I don't know if he didn't think about it, but it was New Year's when we were coming in. So that's one thing that, he probably didn't think about. But, there were more than enough campgrounds. I mean, we were in an area that had, I think, 4 campsites.
And that's the only reason why I let us go that far.
Yeah.
Is, all right, if this one's full, we've got 3 others that we can try to find a place.
Well, what I was saying was where we were parked, even though the park was full, there were 4 slots. We were the only one in any of those 4 slots.
Okay, I
so
see.
there were more than enough areas open. But, yeah, it is kind of spooky just driving in, hoping that there's a place to stay.
And I'm also curious, the places that this one operated, and they all seem to kind of do it that way, they just have a general caretaker that just comes around at a certain point of the day to collect the fees.
Yeah.
And so that got me wondering, what if you pull into some park like this late in the evening and then you pull out first thing in the morning? Does that happen?
You could probably, if you're not an honest person, you could probably get a free night camp. Or even day use if you pulled in early during the day,
Yeah, maybe that's acceptable for them if you're not there taking the whole time. I don't know. But that kind of crossed my mind.
It seemed a little haphazard, there wasn't a whole lot of structure to it, I think you could dump, without really paying the fees if the caretaker wasn't right there. And he's not. It's a large park. His quarters are way back at the end of the park, not at the beginning. So he really, unless he's on his cart driving around, he really can't tell.
He's only one
who's
person.
there.
He can't be everywhere at all times.
Yeah.
But it was a very nice, quiet park.
Oh,
so
yeah.
for New Year's, nobody was letting off fireworks.
Yep.
So it was very relaxed, very quiet. You could tell people really respected the quiet hours.
Yep. There's a good group of people out there, core people. You can tell there's a lot of people
Regulars.
that's their favorite and they go there a lot.
Oh, we ran into this one woman and she said, oh, you found our secret place. Yes, we did.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about it on YouTube. You better believe that.
Sorry.
No, but it was really nice. I really enjoyed my time there.
You talked about how there were plenty of spaces. The campground has 2 different types of lots. They have these flat, grassy lots that are in an open area.
Yeah, those are pretty much as soon as you come in.
And then you have the core group of parking spaces that are in this wooded area with those big oak trees. And at first, when we first got there, we kind of drove through there, and a lot of them were filled up.
Yeah.
And we just decided, well, let's just go on the outside. I wound up loving the big open grass
Yeah,
area.
well, I'm telling you right now, man, campsite number 5 at Coleman Landing.
Nobody should take. It's horrible. You do not want it.
No, you do want that. That's a nice site. I'm going to grab it every time I go back if it's open.
They'll fit any size rigs.
Yeah, they're really big. They're really big.
Well, the big grassy open ones, even we saw some Class A's in where the oak trees were, but because the oak trees are scattered throughout, some spaces are better for smaller units. But really, anybody with any size rig.
Well, the reason I didn't want to go there was because just for the fact I wanted a little bit of privacy, and there were a lot of units right next to each other, you know, and that one. When you and I looked at it, we like, look at that. There's nobody on the side of it. But even if there is somebody that comes up and any of them on the side of us, we've got a big tree with bushes and stuff on the sitting side of the RV.
Not only for privacy, but with us with filming.
Yeah.
We didn't want to annoy people, so we took advantage of, that's why we were able to do so many outside things.
Yeah.
Which was really
I
nice.
truly like those outdoor shoots better than indoor.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, the other thing I was surprised, there were bugs, but not nearly as many as I thought there would. And
No.
probably indicative of the time of year.
Yeah.
I don't know Florida well enough, but nothing that really drove me crazy.
The only thing I saw bug-wise that was a little bit irritating were the ants. There were some fire ants out there, and you just kind of had to watch where you stepped, you know, or watch where the dogs stepped.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, it was, there really weren't many mosquitoes. There were some, but I never had to use any bug spray or anything, and went out and I didn't ever really notice being bit by any.
That's true. So our first experience at a county campground, total win.
Yeah.
We really liked it, and I would definitely recommend at least Coleman Landing.
Mm-hmm.
That was really great. The caretaker's name is Rick.
Yep, good
and
guy.
Russ will be putting out a video on Sunday that will just kind of cover all the specifications.
It'll have the specifications, and you'll get to see kind of what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, we have a little bit in the faces and places, but a lot of times people want to know things like the GPS coordinates and what the bathrooms look like and things like that.
All that's in there.
So we're just going to do a separate one on that for anybody that might be interested in really seeing what the campground looks like. Mm-hmm. The other thing I wanted to mention there, they do have a boat landing connected to the campground.
Yep, on the back side.
And you hear the boats, but they're not really that annoying. But I really liked going down there and watching them. They're the big airboats that take off, well, really any type of boat.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of boats. I mean, there are a lot of, those little pontoon boats, and there are a lot of bass boats out there. But by far, the majority of them were those airboats.
And if you're looking for a campground with space and room, this is it. This was the place that I felt comfortable enough to finally get behind the wheel of the truck while the trailer was attached and practice parking somewhere.
Yep.
So if you're a newbie, it's also they don't have pull-throughs, but they do have some really nice big wide open spaces to do it. And then one last thing, the adults enjoyed it just as much, but I think if you have kids, there's a lot of really cool wildlife that you get to see. The cows are right across the street. There's some really big birds. And what else did we see? Yeah,
well, I mean, and just the water in general. The thing that I noticed is that it's at a dead end. So there's not a lot of people coming through unless they're coming to the park or they're going out on the lake. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of kids riding around on their bikes, and it just reminded me of being a kid, and really cool times. I was like, man, if I were a kid here, this would be the park that I would like to come to, even as a kid. Bring the bikes and just spend all day riding around.
So now switching over a little bit, Mooch Docking.
Yep.
And for those of you who are just joining in and not familiar with that term, that's when you just pretty much pull into a friend or family member's driveway or on their property, and if you're lucky, you can plug in, and you've got water and stuff.
So and that's what we're doing right now. We're Mooch Docking, and we did 3 nights of Mooch Docking this week, and so with our Mooch Docking here, we're plugged into 120, and we have water.
And so with the 120, we have an adapter because we have a 30 amp unit, so we have the adapter. We've got the water with the water filter all set up, and then we found a local campground not too far that we can go
about 4 miles away,
and we can go dump. We have our portable waste tank, so we can go take care of that.
Yep, and the gray tanks and black tanks. Yeah.
So that really, when you have friends and family that you can kind of do that, it's definitely helpful.
Yeah, Mooch Docking is a good thing. I mean, there's, it's free while you're here, so, and that's what saved us a lot of money this week. We would have been $140.
I debated staying at the campground longer, though.
Yeah, well, me too. It was,
enjoyed
it was nice. Even though this is free, $20 still isn't that bad.
No, on the average, if people are first getting into it, we defaulted. We went to KOAs, and I found the majority of the KOAs are running around $45 a night. I know you're going to find some cheaper, but that's just been the average that what we found. That being said, looking around Florida at this time of year when we were checking out some of the other places, I mean, they get pricey.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Over $100.
Yeah, that one site we found in the Keys when we were looking at going down there was what, $155 a night?
Yeah, that wasn't a KOA, it was a private campground, but still, it was, you were in the Keys, I will give you that, but it was pretty much a big parking lot, and you would be right in the center, and it wasn't even full hookups, I don't think. So we opted to pass on that this time. Kind of sad, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll be back next year for sure.
For sure. So this next week, we're going to probably do another. I'm going to look and see if there's any more harvest hosts.
Okay, yeah. I'm loving those harvest hosts.
I am too. It's like I've got the bug now. I want to see how many we can try.
Yeah, make sure to put our link to the harvest host down there.
I will.
Okay, so what that does, if you click on that, you get I don't know how much you get off. Is it 10% off?
10% discount.
And we get a little kickback as well. So, but why don't you explain what the harvest hosts are for maybe people who don't know or who haven't seen our prior videos?
But real quick, there's a company that's gone out there and got agreements with small businesses that will allow you to basically boondock or just park in their driveways or on their property overnight for one night, sometimes two. A few of them you can arrange to stay longer, but you'll have to pay something, and that's on a per case basis type of thing. They have extended now to golf courses. I'm not saying we won't ever do that, but those don't appeal to me as much. But a free stay is a free stay.
So yeah, you mentioned that there are small businesses, and then you mentioned golf courses. But typically, those small businesses that Kerry mentioned are your wineries, your farms, your museums, stuff like that.
Yep. So we've already stayed at a blueberry farm.
Yep.
And a honeybee.
On a bee farm.
Farm.
Yeah.
And now I've got the bug, and it's really cool getting this kind of insider's look at a lot of different places.
Yep.
And so we will be doing that, and I want to head east a little bit. I want to see the beach. We're in Florida. We haven't been to the beach yet.
Yeah, well, let's get on it.
Take me to a beach.
You're the navigator.
I know, it's just all the beaches are so expensive. But I will, I'm the type of person that goes into a mall or a store when they have a sale and goes straight to the sale rack.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to find right now. And it's just probably not the best time of year to be doing that in Florida. But if it's out there, I will find it. We shall see.
But. All right, guys. So thank you so much for your tips, your questions, your comments, your concerns. Keep them coming. We have a video every Tuesday that we call Q&A Tuesday. We'll answer all your questions then. And sometimes if it's a really good question, and we have done this on many occasions, we take that and make a complete show out of your question.
We should give them the shout out and the credit.
I agree. I agree.
I think that's something we will do.
So there are multiple ways to get a hold of us. Kerry, why don't you let them know how they can get a hold of us?
We have our blog at theroadsweroam.com. We're also on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also check out our podcast, which is an audio version of what you've just seen. And that's on Spreaker and iTunes.
Yep.
All right. That's all for now. We look forward. We're getting ready for our Friday Night Wine, our live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.